Hello out there, data structure and algorithm students. I wanted to take a moment to give a little bit more instruction on how to write the code checker program. This algorithm is going to be used to check for proper parsing of parentheses and curly braces and even square brackets. I've got an example bit of code here. I don't have any square brackets I see, but that's okay. You can add that in yourself, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to write some code that will actually go through this text. So it'll get it. It could be scanned some way, but we're just going to take it as a text, okay, string text, and we're going to go through it character by character, and we're going to check it. So first of all, we're going to talk about how we would go through something character by character. Well, we would use a for loop that loops through the entire length of the string, okay, of the text, and we would get each character. If we were using I to loop through, we could take the text and we could say string C gets text dot substring of I to I plus 1, and we just let I go through all the way to the starting at 0 to the text dot length, and that's going to get us each character one at a time. Now, the important thing about making something work in the code is that not only do we have to have the same amount of opening curly braces as we do closing curly braces, but we have to have them in the right order. I can't have an open curly brace and then an open parenthesis and then a close curly brace, right? So the order matters, and the order is like going in and then backing out. And so whenever you think about going in and backing out, I want you to think about a stack. So this is a stack. You may have even heard of, the recursion stack, because you back out of recursion. It's a stack. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a stack where we keep track of these. So let's scan through this together. So I've got this. I'm going to go through each character one at a time. P is not one of our special characters. We're looking for this character, this character, this character, and if we see them, we're going to push them onto the stack, okay? We're also looking for this character, this character, or this character. And when that happens, we'll do some parsing checking, okay? So I'm just going to keep going through because this does not match any of those 6 characters, even the space that we've talked about so far. Until finally I come to this character here. Since it's one of my 3 opening characters, okay? It's one of these 3 opening characters, I'm going to push it on the stack. So just imagine pushing the character C onto the stack. So I'll just indicate it like that. This is another opening character. I will push it on the stack. Now, we talk about stacks, like cards that you put on top. You put them on top of the stack and you peel from the top. So, in fact, I'm going to call this the bottom of my stack up here, just because it's easier for me to write going down than going up. So I'm just going to put it there. But remember that we're going to pull from down below. Okay. So how did we put these 2 things on the stack? Well, you would have to have had a stack, okay? So what would that look like? Well, you should have a stack interface, right? And we like to type things as an interface in this class. And we're going to be making our stack of type string because that's what we're putting in it, right? I'll just call it lowercase stack. And you should have, at this point, made some sort of, I can't remember what you called it, but maybe something like linked stack or something like that. You should have made a class that implements a stack. Now, to make a stack, you just need a singly linked list. You do a doubly linked list, that's fantastic, but you don't have to have one to make a stack. But as long as it implements the interface and behaves properly, that's fine. So when we come across this character, one of our 3 opening characters, we need to say stack dot push. So it's an instance variable. So you call it on your stack dot push, and then we're just going to put that character there. So that's how I put that there, right? All right. So now we've come now to here. Okay, we've just came to one of our closing characters. So we need to figure out what we have to do. So when we come to a closing character, we're going to branch off and do several other things. Well, this is only an appropriate character to have if the last thing I put on my stack was a character that matched it. So because we got one of these closing characters, we have to check. And you have to do a different check for each one of these closing characters, right? You're going to have several if statements within this if statement. So have an if statement that tells you, okay, I need to go into check mode, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to get a new character, right? And maybe call it string, I don't know. Well, hold on a second, actually. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so all that we kept pushing, right? We ignored when it wasn't one of our opening characters. We pushed when it was, but what do we do when it is a closing character? So I want you to think about it that this is if closing character is found. Okay, what do we do? Well, you need a whole nother branch of if statements, and there's several things that need to happen. First of all, if you try and pop from an empty stack, you're gonna get an error. You can condense this and do this in less if statements, but this is logically the way you can think about it. So first of all, if your stack is empty, and remember you have that method called isEmpty. So if your stack is empty, then we got a problem, because that means you don't have an opening thing at all. You don't have to check if it's the right one or the wrong one. You don't have one to match your closing parenthesis. This could happen when someone maybe, I don't know, put too many closing curly braces at the end of their class. They forgot they had already put this code, this character. Maybe they had hit enter too many times and it's down below the screen, so they think they need to put another one. Well, now you got a closing character, and there's nothing left on the stack. So we don't want to try and pop from the stack, because that would cause an error, and we don't want that. Error wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't be an error. It wouldn't be telling us our code was an error. It would be our code checker that would error. So we want to do that. So we have to check that first. So if the stack is empty, we're just simply going to return the index. Remember, we want to return the index of where the error is at. So in that case, it would probably be the last index in the text. So just return the index if that happens. All right. So after we've checked that, if it didn't return, we can go further. Okay. So what else? Well, okay. So else, if. So we know the stack's not empty. We have to say, if this character that we pulled off the stack, right? If C, and please remember to use dot equals, not equals equals. But so if C equals, well, if it equals one of these things, right? If it equaled one of those, then we need to make sure that stack.pop, and we really want to remove it, okay? You got to remove it. That's why you don't peek at it, you pop it, because we want to say, okay, we've matched it up. Once I've matched it up, it's gone. So, and stack.pop, it does not equal. So if that doesn't equal what we need, well, what does it need to equal? Well, it needs to equal the opening one, right? Well, then we got a problem, and we need to return that index. It didn't match, okay? So that's what you would do there. So let's go through. Okay, I had the closing brace. We popped this off, and when I popped it off, it worked just fine, right? It matched perfectly. Well, let's go back now, and let's go through. Okay, now I'm going to put another thing on the stack, right? Okay, now I'm going to put another thing on the stack. All right, I got it to a closing character, so I pop. This is off, okay? It matches that. All right, let's go through. Okay, I got another character. I'm going to push it on the stack. All right, pop. Check and make sure it works. All right, I got another closing character. So these things are gone from the stack, right? Let's go and let's get them off. All right, I got another closing character. All right, when I got a closing character, I got to make sure it matches, right? It matches. I got one right here. Alright, then I've got another closing character, and it should match. And finally I got a third one, but I messed up my stack somewhere. So I should have had 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I must have erased too many. Anyway, so that's the way that works.